So we have on the line Rabbi Coalesce from the Philippines. How are you doing, Rabbi Coalesce?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Rabbi Asher?
I'm doing good, thank God. I think that you're doing a great thing. You are bringing the light of Torah to the Philippines, and I encourage everyone, if you're in the Philippines, to hit you up. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your community.
A little bit about myself. I grew up in the Caribbean. I grew up in the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. And so I was in the military for about 20 years. I retired from the military. And I found my way in the Philippines after being deployed here. Over the years, I decided to start to look how I'm supposed to live according to the Torah, because I had been living against the Torah for many years. Pretty long story short, my being in the military and seeing lots of different things kind of brought me back to my heritage as far as how to live, and having a lot of close calls and seeing people leaving this physical world, I realized that Hashem has given me many, many chances, and basically I threw my life away, in a sense, and so I decided to seek how I can live according to the Torah. And so anyway, I found myself in the Philippines after living abroad for many years, living outside the United States. I lived throughout the Middle East and throughout Africa for some years, and I decided to live here in the Philippines, basically. There's many communities here in the Philippines that have left Christianity. As you know, Christianity is probably 90%, 95% of the population of the Philippines. And it used to be a very, very strong Catholic country. Still is a very strong Catholic country. But there's other denominations here as well now. Many of the communities that are here that have left the ways of Christianity. For example, the community that I'm working with now, our community, this community was started in about 1995, 1996. Found that the ways of our Christianity was just not truth. And they got away from Christianity. They said that they wanted to start learning how to live according to the Torah, and so they wanted to convert to Judaism. But the issue, of course, was that they had no teachers, and somehow they got in contact with someone who was in Israel, who started sending the community here some books, and they started to read and trying to implement live according to the Torah from what they thought was the right way. And that was from since 1995, so there's a whole bunch of little communities here and there throughout the Philippines that have been seeking to convert, but they just didn't know how. I would say that probably about 2013 or so, or maybe a little bit before that, they began having a strong Noahide movement. And so that group began teaching that the people here could not convert to Judaism. There was no way for them to convert. And so they started looking into being Noahide, because that was what was being taught. And from my understanding, there was a couple of rabbis that were teaching this.
So you're saying that the guys that were helping educate the community in the Philippines were pushing the Noahide laws on them and not traditional conversion?
No. The initial person who was teaching the community here, where I'm working here, in General Santos City, he was not doing that. But I think that somehow there's some distance between them. I don't know if he got ill or something like that, and he stopped. But there was another movement of people in the Philippines that were being taught by others, from my understanding, from the U.S. and from Israel, according to laws of Noahide, and they began going around throughout Mindanao. So Mindanao is a big island, and they started going around and gathering up the different communities that were trying to live according to the Torah, trying to follow Judaism, until then they had to, basically follow the laws of Noah. So they tried that for a little bit. This community, there's a couple other communities as well, and they decided that that was not the route that they wanted to go. At that point, the Noahide movement that was pushing that, they became quite hostile towards those communities.
So currently, are there any conversions being performed in the Philippines?
No, not yet. No, there's been no conversions here.
Have you considered forming a Beit Din?
I sure have considered it, and I've spoken to. I've been working actually with an organization called Kulanu. I think you know Rabbi Yehuda Moshe Ben Levi. spoken to those two, and also Rob Moshe Otero about doing something like this in the future. And so they've all spoken positively about this and about assisting in setting up a Beit Din to be able to come in and do something like that in the future.
Are there other synagogues in the Philippines?
Yes, there's a big Knesset in Manila. So Manila is in the island of Luzon, and that is about, from here, it's about a 2-hour flight. There's been communities, I think 2 communities of persons went there last year to speak to the rabbi over there about converting. So he told them, yeah, you guys can convert, you have to come over here. You move over here, basically, and we'll see how it goes from there, long story short. And he would assist
What
them.
kind of synagogue is it?
It's
like a Chabad or?
No, there's actually Chabad here. So there's Chabad, I want to say there's four Chabad centers here. I have not visited them. I think I met one person from it. I think it's just saying hi. So I thought he had, visit. So I told him hi. The person I was with, when he saw the person, I think that they had some kind of there's whatever kind of mechukah between various people. So when he saw the person who I was with, his face wasn't very happy. So,
Mm-hmm.
But
you would say that the synagogues there don't let people off the street just walk in, correct?
Yeah, you have to. There's a few different things you have to do. They would check your name, and they would, I guess, they'd question you and interview you, and then look at your passport or your whatever kind of identification that you have, and decide if they would allow you to come in, basically. See if there's lots of different reasons for it, I guess. This is the Philippines. A couple of years ago, there was some fighting here. There's Muslim extremists in this area as well. In some parts of Mindanao and the southern parts of the Philippines. So people are very, very wary of that. That might be one of the reasons why they're more cautious.
Well, it's like this actually all over the world outside of the U.S., Canada, and England, that people who are not Jewish are kept outside of the synagogue. Really, unless you live in England, the U.S., or Canada, or Israel, you can't convert to Judaism. I think the Jewish people are suffering from what's known as sinat chinam. Chazal tell us that this is one of the main reasons for our previous and current exile, baseless hatred amongst Jews. This is why they don't want to make converts in South America. This is why they don't want to make converts in the Philippines, because conversion has become politicized. It's not how much you love God and how accurately you keep His commandments. It's how much money you make, the color of your skin, how will you affect our gene pool. And it really began with the Syrians in 1905, I believe, in Argentina, and it spread when, at that time, the chief rabbi of Palestine, before Israel became a state, bought into the whole outlawing of conversions in underdeveloped countries. But there is a huge movement out there, not just in the Philippines. We see this also in South America and in many other countries, of people leaving Christianity. And the question is, what are we going to offer them as a viable alternative to the religion they've just left? And it's not Noahidism. It's Judaism. It's the only rational, viable alternative to both Christianity and Islam. And you're filling a great void there in the Philippines. And God willing, one day there will be courts converting, maybe under you, in the Philippines. And it's such an untapped resource. Gentiles coming into Judaism. Ultimately, the only difference between a Jew and a Gentile is ideally that the Jew believes and keeps Torah. So if the Gentile would also believe and adhere to that Torah, then you just made another Jew. The thing is, I don't think the average person views it in that manner. Their hatred to people wanting to come into Judaism is deeper than that. It supersedes that. And I typically tie it into Kabbalah and outside ideas overriding the purpose of Torah to begin with, which is ultimately to make the world a better place. If you have more people keeping Torah, the world, by definition, would improve. I sympathize with what you do, and I think this comes from you being a soldier all those years. You were a soldier for men, and now you're a soldier for God. I was also in the Army. I was in the infantry airborne. I also harnessed that passion. What's the name of your community?
Well, the community is called Kehilot B'nai Yisrael. Over the past couple of months, it's quite interesting that I got some people sending me messages just lying about me. I got messages from rabbis in Israel asking me if I was taking money for conversions. Someone from the Noahide movement here in the Philippines told them that they gave me money for conversions. Of course, this is a lie. I never met the person. I've heard about the person, but I never met the person before. I never seen the person before. And of course, and he's one of the people that was from the Noahide movement. I had other people calling me, messaging me from South Africa. Other people sending me messages asking me, because of my color, they can't believe that I'm a Jew, and then so they're asking me all kinds of questions, and so I asked them various halakhic questions. They couldn't answer me. I've began to experience a lot of sinam. People, I've never experienced that, so much.
There's a lot of bigotry in the Jewish world, and I don't really see this in other religions, that one group or one rabbi will try to sabotage people coming into that religion. It's completely irrational. It's irrational if you're not a bigot. If you're a bigot, it makes perfect sense. We're above that. I think the Torah is above that. I think the Torah separates people with how they behave and who they worship as a true God instead of the color of their skin or the size of their bank accounts. But thank God I see things changing. And when you do start doing conversions, they're going to realize that the numbers are on your side. People are looking for a synagogue full of sincere Torah-keeping Jews. They're not going to go to the local Chabad. They're going to go to your synagogue. Do you have a website currently or no?
Yeah, it'll be Kehilot B'nai Israel.
Can you spell it?
QHILOTBENAIYISRAEL.
And that's .com. And there, I'm sure you'll be able to find options to donate and encourage your work further. If someone was in the Philippines and they wanted to join you guys for Shabbos or something, where are you guys located?
We are located in General Santos City in Mindanao. So if they're in Mindanao, in what's called South Cotabato, they're welcome to come visit us. I'll give a number where they can give a call. It's in City Heights. The street is Zaldivar Street. It'll be the only place that has a mezuzah on the gate. It's close to what's called an OND mission. Once you pass OND mission, it'll be right on the side, right next to it, a yellow wall and a building, the carport. They'll be able to see that with the on the gate.
Awesome. All right, Rabbi, I appreciate this talk, and I encourage every one of my listeners, share this video and help in any way they can and support the Rabbi in what he's doing in the Philippines.
Hashem, thank you very much, Rabbi Asher. We appreciate you so much. We thank you for all your teachings, all that you do, your deep desire and love for Hashem, for the Torah, for the Jewish people, spreading, love of Hashem and love of Torah throughout the world. And that's what you do.